What's indeed going on, Jerome's? It's a new day. It's a new dawn. Thursday, Vikings news dump is upon us, so let's get it going. First up, so the Vikings trying to get their first win of the season, allegedly 0-3, taking on the 0-3 Carolina Panthers at BOFA Stadium in North Carolina. Come on, raise up. Won't be on Sunday. No worries, man. But the Vikings, the players obviously take this we take this issue really seriously. And Kirk Cousins, yeah, it's taking it hard. Will Rag at Sports Illustrated. Go. Kirk Cousins spoke today about how losses like Sundays against the Chargers torment him. Quote, "I'm crawling in my skin." Oh, he's channeling Linkin Park. Crawling in my skin. Driving home from the stadium on Sunday. And the last 2 days, golly. He said golly. You're sitting there in meetings and you're just frustrated because it matters to you. R.I.P. Chester Bennington, by the way. So, yeah, I understand that the Vikings fans, we take things super hard, and sometimes you'd be like, oh, these guys get paid either way. No, these guys want to win. These guys want to win championships because it affects their money, it affects their legacy, everything. Right. And head coach Kevin McConnell did say that new free agent signing Dalton Reisner is going to get in the mix with the first group at both left and right guard. I think that they're contingency planning whether they're going to put Reisner at left guard and move Ezra Cleveland to right guard, or just plop Reisner into right guard in for Ed Ingram. But either way, it's good to see, as well as Kevin McConnell said that Cam Akers is going to be in the mix as well. Because, it's all hands on deck, because if you fall to 0-4, there may not be any more. Speaking of not anymore, and speaking of 4, so Marcus Davenport has played 4 snaps this season. His 1-year, $13 million free agency deal looking fantastic. And since the NFL changed the rules about jersey numbers, Marcus Davenport grabbed number 0, even though he had been number 92 in New Orleans, been number 92 at University of Texas San Antonio. And I feel like it just opened him up for all the 0 jokes, because he had half a sack last year, so 0.5, or he's got 0 sacks, 0 pressures this year. Not great. But Ivan Pace Jr., rookie UDFA linebacker out of Cincinnati, he rocked number 0 for the Bearcats, man. And it's such a good aesthetic and a modest proposal. So every single game that Marcus Davenport doesn't play, he has to give number 0 to Marcus Davenport to Ivan Pace Jr. so we can have this aesthetic. Woo! From our guy Eli Corbett. Come on, baby. Agent 0. Well, this is what it's going to be next year anyway. So hold off on buying an Ivan Pace Jr. jersey, because Davenport ain't going to be back. And Pace Jr. Dynasty will take over, man. Someone that took over was Justin Jefferson's Instagram post yesterday. So initially, upon reading it, you're like, sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. You're thinking, okay, this is like Diggs, the whole time for a new beginning thing. It's not great. It's not great, man. But Sosa's, a lot of people chimed in that JJ and his significant other had recently broken up. So it's more... Yeah, Vikings fans are just like, JJ is not requesting a trade. He's just processing a very difficult and emotional breakup. So, yeah, screw him as a person, man. But hey, just stay on my football team or something like that. But either way, JJ, we were just talking like this. Lots of fish in the sea, etc. And on to the next one. And the next person you meet is going to be the one. Something like that. Anyways, next up. So speaking of the one, Josh freaking Oliver caught the 1 touchdown from a Vikings tight end. Should have been 2 on Sunday, but Josh Oliver, highest graded tight end in the NFL this season per PFF at 83.4. Now that does factor in Oliver has been very good in certain receiving situations, and he's been damn fine as a blocker. For my money, the best blocking tight end in the game. And there's a reason why the Vikings inked him up, because they want to play heavier, they want to run the ball. They haven't been able to do that aside from Sunday, and hopefully they'll be able to do that in Carolina, impose their will. And Hawkinson's having a good year, aside from the fumble, aside from dropping the game-winning touchdown against the Chargers. But him and Josh Oliver are the best tight end duo in the National Football League. And not only is Oliver a blocker, they definitely should and could use his physicality and size and range in the red zone as well. And something we put it out to you, the Jeromes, where obviously the whole "you are what your record says you are," like that whole thinking is back, despite it going away last year when the Vikings were 13-4, won some more. And I put it out there, it was like, there's 2 seasons that started off where the team was either playing over their skis or not representative of how good they are. Now, this season, obviously, the Vikings 0-3. They're shooting themselves in the foot with turnovers, and every single game there were one play away from securing a win, including Philly week 2. So 0-3 is not really indicative of the quality of this team. All right, some bad puck luck here and there, and it is what it is. But also, the Vikings in 2016. So all the people are saying is like, oh, the Vikings this year aren't unlucky. They're just a bad team. I wonder what they were saying about the 2016 Vikings, because they started out 5-0. They ended up 8-8. Not only did they end up 8-8 and miss the playoffs, but they actually were 7-8. And they had to win the final week of the season, which was a whatever game at home against the crooked Chicago Bears. But was that the Rashad Hill game? I think that's where he started. Anyways, but the Vikings, after the 5-0 start, they went on to lose 8 of their next 10 games. Which is pretty damn rough. Third season of Mike Zimmer. Now, this was a weird year from the jump. So Teddy Bridgewater was set to make a huge leap in year 3, was looking damn good at training camp, added some weight, had a little bit more zip on his deep ball. Like, he really made the transformation like Tua is making this year, adding some weight, adding some strength. But unfortunately, Teddy's leg almost fell off, and then the Vikings traded a first and a fourth to Philly for a Sling and Sam Bradford, who looked good in spurts, but, just it wasn't meant to be. Now, what's amazing is that the Vikings started out 5-0, right? And in those 5 games, like I'm pretty sure they had like 3 defensive touchdowns, and I think that Marcus Sherrill's returned a punt for a touchdown. Maybe Cordero was in there too. But either way, I mean, even though the Vikings they won on the road in Tennessee week 1. They beat the Packers. They went on the road. They beat the Panthers week 3. Where I think they sacked Cam like 8 times. They beat the Giants handily, and then they beat the Texans pretty soundly at home. And then the losing streak started. It wasn't good. But, I mean, again, you are what your record says you are, 5-0. But we put it out to you, the Jeromes, and a bunch of you guys voted. Which team's record was more misleading? And the 5-0 Vikings won by about a 2/3 majority. 0-3 Vikings. I mean, you look around the league. Are the Vikings as bad as the Bears? No. Are the Vikings as bad as the Panthers? No. But maybe we'll find out Sunday. Are the Vikings as bad as the Broncos? Definitely not. No. So looking ahead. So the Vikings are hosting the Kansas City Chiefs week 5, and of course Taylor Swift should be in the building. She's going to go see the Chiefs and the Jets this week, so maybe if they're not broken up by then. But 506 Sports pointing this out. If they were allowed to flex Sunday Night Football out this week, I would have said it was good as gone, but Taylor came along. The Chiefs and Jets Sunday Night Football would have been a big deal if Rodgers was healthy, but he's not. Which reminds me, in a move that should shock nobody, CBS is now making Kansas City, Minnesota the main 4:25 game next week instead of Jets and the Broncos. So late game, not America's game of the week since it's not Fox, but it basically is for CBS, and probably going to get the Nance and Romo treatment, so that's fantastic. That's great. So we got Nance and stupid Romo. Here comes a 1-yard gain on 1st and 10. Jim, great. Just cracking Taylor Swift jokes, just panning to her the entire time, panning to stupid Travis Kelce. I'm actually more annoyed by the Kelce attention than Taylor Swift because, as I've established, I actually like Taylor Swift. But someone I also really like is Cam Beezy, who, I mean, Bynum's had his fair share of detractors. I feel like a lot of Vikings fans have been down on the pride of Cal, but I mean, Beezy this year has been playing at a Pro Bowl adjacent type level. He absolutely has. He's been a heat-seeking missile as a tackler, and he's doing well in coverage, man. And also very proud of his Filipino heritage. Spends a lot of the offseason go back to the Philippines doing philanthropic and charity work, which I love. Filipino-American NFL safety Cam Bynum repped the Philippines on his thigh pad. So if you notice, a lot of NFL players, if they do wear thigh pads, a lot of players don't, but they're able to put emboss like a stamp, like a cool logo on it. Like Justin Jefferson has JJ, Thielen had 19 and his logo on it and stuff. It's cool. And Beezy putting up the sun and the stars logo of the Philippines. So looking good, man. Looking good. We'll love to see that pride. And also the Asian delegation claims Beezy because Philippines, I mean, it's Asia adjacent. There you go. Some of the Vikings could and should be interested in is strength and size in the trenches. Now, If the Vikings don't go down the quarterback route, which they certainly could, this potentially is going to be the deepest quarterback class in NFL history. And if the Vikings decide to go in a different direction at quarterback, maybe they target one day too, Cooper Beebe, the pride of Kansas State, and of course we with Dalton Reisner have great luck with Kansas State offensive linemen, but again, scout the player, not the helmet. Cooper Beebe is going to be an absolute mauler. He is the Zach Martin of this year's class, and he's just going to be a fantastic freaking guard in the National Football League. We all about that ass. That's right. So we're going for size. We're going for power. We're going to dominate inside, and Cooper Beebe from Kansas State would be a name to watch. Also, something to watch is this is for our friends' Vikes fan page. I don't think that the Vikings would fire Kevin O'Connell after 2 years, especially after winning the division last year and going 13-4. I don't think that would happen. And also, the Wolves have been very patient as owners. I mean, they gave Zimmer 8 years. They gave Spielman a chance to pick 3 different quarterbacks, Ponder, Teddy, and Kirk Cousins, as well as he picked 2 separate head coaches in Leslie Frazier and Zimmer. So the Wolves are very patient. They're not Jimmy frickin' Haslam and the Browns. But in terms of odds for the first NFL head coach fired, he's 4th at plus 900. Now, some of these other odds are kind of weird. So McDaniels, yes, that makes sense. I think that he would be the favorite. Eberflus at plus 175. I think that's a sucker's bet because, number one, the odds are too short. And number two, I think Poles and Eberflus are tied at the hip, even though, I mean, last year was their first year. It's crazy, man. And also the Bears aren't really known for firing coaches in season, so I don't necessarily see that happening. Ron Rivera plus 250. I don't see the new commies ownership firing a guy like Ron. I think that he is a steady presence. Maybe they go a different direction after the offseason, but the first guy fired and the first head coach is going to be fired in season in all likelihood. Don't see that. Staley. I mean, Staley may have saved his job, but if the Vikings... If Hockenson hangs onto that ball and Staley's stupid 4th down decision blows up in his face, he might have been fired after this week. Rob Salah, I think that unfortunately Rob Salah could be offered up as a sacrificial lamb. His defense is not as good as last year, as well as the decision to keep rolling with Zach Wilson or, Trevor Siemian. Nah, it's rough. Sean Payton, they're not going to fire him after 1 year. Vrabel, probably not. But of this, I mean, it feels like Staley will still find a way to screw up, so he could be back in there. But it feels like sprinkling a little bit on McDaniels, who I think would be the favorite, as well as Staley, getting 10-1 on him. That's huge. Salah getting 12-1 on him is huge. So, McDaniels, Staley, and Salah, jelly beans for entertainment purposes only. Why not? Why not, man? But that is it. That's it. Vikings news dump for a beautiful Thursday. Get out and get after it, man. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.